So I was talking about this the other day on live, and they were telling me I need to share this with everybody. Um, when you come across tall people, and we do it in so many ways, and I'm sure I've done it before too, but when you come across tall people in particular, I would urge you not to go straight towards telling a tall person what they should be doing with their height. And what I mean by that is I'm oftentimes getting questions. Remember, I've been this height since I was 14. And so from the time I was young till now, I've oftentimes get people to ask me questions like, do you play basketball? Which I'm fine with that. But the ones I don't particularly care for is the ones that seem to pigeonhole me into all I could really do is play basketball. It's things like, I hope you played basketball, or if you didn't play basketball, it's a waste of height, and things of that nature. And it's like, I don't know if you realize, I understand you're probably trying your best to show your admiration for my height, but I would prefer you go and say, how tall are you? And when I tell you I'm 6'8", you'd be like, man, I wish I was that height. Man, if I had been that height, I probably would have been able to do better at basketball because I love basketball. And if I had a little more height, I might have been able to do a little bit more in that field. And I'm fine with that, right? Now you're letting me know that you wish you were tall because you feel like it would have made you better at basketball. But don't project onto me your failures or your wishes in life because that's what you want to do. Because I need you to understand it's similar to telling a woman, walking up to a woman and saying, I hope you have children, or I hope you plan on being a mother, or it's a waste of being a woman. You should not pigeonhole people into certain roles because of your ideas and opinions of how things should work. You just shouldn't. And even more so is like when we talk about someone tall like me, on a macro scale, when you say things like, I should play basketball because I'm tall, and if I don't, it's a waste of height, what you're telling me is that you think I should entertain you for a living just because I was given certain physical traits. Because that's all a basketball player is. That's all sports is entertainment. And by thinking that I should be an entertainer, the reason it's demoralizing to me is because I am the type of person that I don't look at myself physically the way everybody else does. I actually like my intellectual and intelligence, my intellectual ability in the intelligent conversations I have and the things I think about and my critical thinking skills more than I like my physical capabilities, the physical gifts I were given, the physical traits I have. Like I tend to like the way my mind works more than the fact that I can jump really high. You feel me? Like that's just how I am. And so for me, I'm like, you start to do this thing where you could be robbing the world of a doctor, a great doctor, someone who can make great strides in medicine to help a lot of people out. And I think doctors are more needed than entertainers. And or you may be taking a great architect. And it's just all these things that like you might have not thought about in that moment because you've seen a tall person and you were reminded that a lot of athletes are tall. And it's because they have an advantage over other people who are not as tall as them, especially if they're athletic. And I get it. I'm not mad at you. I don't think people oftentimes are thinking of these things when they say them. I think they're just trying to show their admiration in, a twisted way. Not that they plan to be twisted. It's just maybe that's the highest level of communication they had at that time. Not to say that they're dumb or anything, just to say like sometimes when you're not fully thinking things through, your communication shows that. So anyway, I want to share that with you because just learn to be more careful when you say things. And the next tall person you come across, I would urge you to express your admiration in a way of letting them know that maybe you do wish you were tall and what you would do with it. But maybe find out what they actually do in life and what their dreams and hopes are and how being tall has affected their life. And if you want to ask them if they play basketball or they play some sport, that's fine. But please don't be disappointed or show any type of disappointment or disapproval when they say they didn't want to play basketball or they weren't good at basketball, they weren't good at sports in general. Because just because you grew to be a certain height doesn't mean you need to go and be an entertainer or you need to play sports or any of these other things. Anyway, I ain't gonna stay on the subject too long. Just want to talk to y'all about it. Y'all have a good day.